All right, folks. If you can, let's see. Hopefully you can see it. Hey, good evening, everybody. Now, some of you guys have done this before. Some of you have never done it. And we're going to start aspect ratio in flight because I know you got over the science of flight when you were here last time. Can you see the screen? Raise your hands if you can see less than 9. All right, great. Now, let me tell you, there's a couple things we can be doing as we get started, waiting for everybody to get here. Reminder, Thursday we do have lab. If you're in a Thursday lab, you might have been soldering some electronics. Make sure you bring those back with you. Finish those up. We're going to start on our planes. It's really a big thing we want to get going. And then right here under handouts, I have this flight learning curriculum. In case you don't have it from the past, there it is right now. Everybody's hands up. All right. So go ahead. While we're doing this, you can go ahead and download that curriculum so you have it. We'll talk about this. We're going to go into PlaneMaker. We're going to design some planes. Once we do the planes, we will get to fly them and then test fly them. Hopefully we can get a bunch of test flying done during this lesson. All right. Okay. Go ahead, let's get rolling here. So, when we're talking about this, we're talking about aspect ratio, mathematical modeling, and experimental design. Aspect ratio is just the width, the span to the mean chord of an airfoil. So how long it is, how wide where airfoil chord is. We use this in television sometimes. Then, we use math to figure out which ones we wouldn't do. So, this is really important. They're going to pay you a ton of money for two things. To save money and to save resources. Which is both money and time, I should say. But also to design something safely. And back in the category of what we do as engineers have repercussions, or by not hiring engineers. Let me show you this one. This is on the world's tallest water slide in Kansas. The people that built this wanted to be on the Travel Channel's largest water park ride. So they decided to build it themselves. Without an engineer, without somebody with a background in physics, without anybody that was even beginning to be qualified to be designing that ride. And a 10-year-old died on it. So the two designers, their brothers, the park owners, have been charged with manslaughter, and they're going to go to jail. They killed someone by not being properly qualified. So what we do as engineers has a big repercussions. What was happening on the ride, and they weren't even doing math to figure it out. They were sending things down it and see how they behave. Well, what would happen is the raft would go down it, and it would get airborne in the second hill in particular. It'd be going so fast, it would go airborne, and then the people would fly up and they'd have netting to hold them in. Well, that right off the bat should have told you. If you need netting to hold somebody in your ride, the ride's too dangerous. All right? And they used netting and steel rings. Well, you know, the young man apparently caught it at the wrong angle and it took off his neck. So, a tragedy that is completely avoidable. We're not even saying, hey, bad. This is just amazing to me. So they should go to jail. By the way, like 10 people have been hurt on the ride before that. They were kept hiding the fact people are getting hurt. So this is a ride that should have never been built, and from the very get-go, they should have had designers. Now you can look at it, see how steep it is. This ride needed probably to be back somewhere here, so you get not such a steep slope. Get a more broader slope. You're not your G curve, which is when you talk about acceleration to gravity is G, right? So a lot of times we talk about, well, that's our standard, a G. Well, on a ride, you never really want to go much past 1.5, 2Gs tops. And then they really don't really even get to 2 most of the time. Well, to stretch that out so you don't have a big, what's called a spike, you would move this ride back, you'd stop that angle, which you would know from common sense almost, and you would maybe space this farther down. So all that energy, make this, you could have even made this ride, in some ways, made this ride, this end, longer and higher, and then level it off. So all that energy going down here would have gone up here and brought it down. There's nothing inherently, let's just do the math. But my guess is they only had so much room for the ride, or they wanted to save money, because if you make this farther this way, stretch it out, it costs you a lot more money. And they wanted to try to do it in a certain time frame. And then, so there we go. And they covered up the injuries. That's again. So let's go back to this. Not such a somber thought, but I'm making the point that you all are going to be future engineers and technical people. You need to think about the repercussions of what you design and do. We can talk about environmental issues, plastic bags, for example, and how they get in the ocean. Those things that you think about as an engineer. What can you do to reuse waste? So, but let's get back to designing airplanes, because we're going to do it smart. We're going to use simulators, and we're going to use math. They didn't do either one. So, aspect ratio is the wingspan divided by mean chord. So how wide is the wing divided by the mean chord? Now, if you know from past data of watching other airplanes fly, that value needs to be, say, 1 in 12, then you can do some calculations to save yourself a lot of time. So if you've got this outline I just handed out to you, if you go there, you would see, we'll go to 9. All right, there we go, 9. All right, here we go. So what happens here, there's 9, right? So there's our aspect ratio, mean chord, wingspan, right? Now, pardon me, you divide 4 by 4.8, 10 by 4.8, 20 by 4.8, 30 by 4.8, which is 6.25, 40 by 4.8, 50 or 60. Go ahead and go for that. Okay, folks, what I want you to do is do just a real quick check of what that range is going to be. So tell me which of those wingspans we can't use. In other words, the wingspans that are less than aspect ratio of 1 and greater than 12. All right? Take a few moments to do it, because this is simplified, but this is what you do when you're an engineer, is you sit, and a lot of times behind the envelope calculations to see what you're trying to do, you can even do. All right, folks. Has anybody gotten it? Raise your hand once you've gotten those numbers for me. Come on, get all the calculator. Let's knock this out. All right, Abigail's got it. Good job, Abigail. Caleb, come on. Harry, Jean-Marc, Laura. Let's do it to it. Levi, Mateo, Philip. Let's get them. All right, we got some hands being raised. William. All right. I'm hoping that you realize the wingspan of 4 foot won't work. It's got an aspect ratio of less than 1, and 60 foot is going to be more than 12. So those wouldn't work. So we know we got to build a plane with a 10 foot, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So by just using math, we saved ourselves work. And honestly, anytime you do engineering, it's simulation now. You can't do it without it. All right, so here we go. So now we're just going to go into PlaneMaker. We're going to copy an RV10. I'm going to show you how to do this. We're going to make it a 50-foot wingspan. So it's a wing of semi-length of 25, lateral room by 24.95, and vertical. We're all going to do this, folks. What I've learned is you're all so busy that if I give you this to do and then say, we'll do this before our next class, most people don't have the time to do it. I've got to respect your time. So, just as I'm going to show you here, we're going to PlaneMaker. PlaneMaker is found right next to XPlane. Same folder. We're going to select under XPlane, we're going to go Open Aircraft, go under Extra Aircraft, the Van RV10s, .fcf, and then we're going to save it this many times. So let me go up and get PlaneMaker open. All right, so let's get XPlane 10. Plane 10. So I'm going to open up this folder. There it is, PlaneMaker. I'm going to pull it open. There it is, already open for us. All right, we're good to go. Then I'm going to go under it. I'm going to go under File, Open. It might be shrunk all the way up. So I'm going to open this up. It's not under Aircraft. It's under Experimental. And then there's Van, RV10. So I would select RV10. I'm going to hit Open. There's RV10. It might even be white the first time you do it. The spacebar looks white. Right there it is. Then I'm going to File. I'm going to do Save As. And down here at the bottom, I'm going to write down Mr. D. I'm going to do AR for aspect ratio, but you can just simply do your name first, and then 50. Because that's the wingspan I'm going to do. And then I'm going to save it and do 40, 30, 20. So I end up with this. So I'm going to hit Save the Aircraft. So first things you do, let me just, I'm saving it as 50. So I would save the aircraft, which it might, there it is. And then I'm going to do File. Save again. I'm going to call it 40. And I'm going to do that for 30, 20, and 10. This way I don't ruin my original, but I've got all these other ones. All right, I've done that, so I'm going to leave that to you all. So let me show you on here. Move this over here more. So I'm going to pop it out this. So I'm going to go into Open under PlaneMaker. I'm going to select Additional Airplanes, Other Airplanes, RV10, and then I'm going to save them. So it's RV10.5. So remember, under X-Planes, Extra Aircraft, Experimental, RV10, RV10ASCF, and then I'm going to save them. I'm going to make 50, 30, 40, 20, 10. And then we're going to start changing them in PlaneMaker on this file. So once you've got all 5 of your planes saved, raise your hand. We'll wait for you then. Jean-Marc's got all 5 of his airplanes apparently. All right, everybody else, once you got them, let us know. So does Abigail. Well done. All right, looks like we got just about everybody here. Great. You've got them saved for 5 of these, hopefully by now. All right, so then we're going to go into PlaneMaker, and we're going to use this. I'll leave it up so you can see it, but I'm going to show you in PlaneMaker how this is done. Hopefully. So, say I got TD, Mr. D, cancel. Which one is that? All right, so there's Mr. D 50. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do File. I'm going to go Standard. I'm going to go to Wings. All right? I'm going to go to Wing 1. And this is semi-length here. And then I'm going to go to Wing 2 and change the lateral and vertical arms. Now, let me show you why. Let me see if I can pull this up. All right, so you're going to go, like, let me show you here. So in Wing 1, we're going to change this to 25 right here off the bat. And then you're going to click on Wing 2 and change the lateral and vertical arms. So see how it is Wing 1, Wing 2, Wing 3, Wing 4. You're going to do Wing 1 to begin with, change to 25, then Wing 2. And we're going to, just like the manual shows, it's a 50-foot wingspan. Wing 1 semi-length is 25. Wing 2 lateral. And these are the wing tips basically changing in the vertical. So there they are. I will try to do them right now. So I go to Wing 1, make that, change that to 24, 25 I should say. Then I'm going to go to, see how the wing tips are here and here. You got to move those out. I go to a lateral arm. I make it 24, 95. I've got the menu, and remember this is about 8 years of doing this. So I kind of remember how everything works. And then this is going to be 25. Of course, the minute I say that, it won't work. Look foolish. All right, so there are. So there's the wing tips are all right. If you come out, it looks like this. See? Looking good. Back to wings. And then you save it. Make sure you're on MR50 now. Make sure before you save that, it says your name AR50. And then do that for 40, 30, etc., so on. I've got them right here for you so you can see it. All right? Putting everybody's hands down. Raise them once you've built all 5 of your airplanes. All right, raise your hands once you got them. It's going to take a few minutes. No bad, just take your time. Okay, I got one person who's got them done. Let me know when everybody gets them. Hope everybody's gonna. Hope tomorrow's a beautiful day. And again, just a reminder, if you have lab on Thursdays, we have a lab this Thursday. All right, we've got 4 of us done. Let's get it done. Hurry. If you can't do it, raise your hand. Let us know. Let me see if there's questions here. Okay. I see it. Oh, okay. We'll go. Whoops, sorry, no questions. I missed. All right. I actually missed. All right. I have a really bad headache and screens make it worse. Sorry, but I have to go leave. All right. I'll make sure to watch the recording now. Good idea. Sorry your head hurts. That's right. Harry, you got it right. Yep. Good job, guys. John Mark, you see, never mind on this. I'm looking at the questions down here. Let me pull this down here and make sure I'm looking at my questions. All right, Harry, Levi, Mateo, let's get these done, guys, so we can go on. Patrick, we're going to go on here in a moment. Gotta get this done. So you should have made the 5 airplanes. All right. Now, we've gotten that done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into XPlane itself. We're going to collect data on these, and we're going to have them all take off. And let's try to do all the flights now. So that way, you collect all the data. When you come back in, you can go in, we can talk about the results of flights, and you can go right on to the next lesson after that. So I'm going to give you time to fly these now, please. So let's go to my webinars. Excuse me, my webinars. I'm going to do that. So what I'm going to do is go into XPlane. There's PlaneMaker. I've made all of them. I've saved it. Let's go to XPlane 10. It's down here. Yeah. We'll open it mine back up. Run demo. Let's pull this up for right now. All right. So when I go into quick flight setup, I select Seattle, Tacoma. I'm going to go into extra aircraft, go into experimental, go down there until I get to RV10. There's van RVs. And then I'm going to find Mr. D 50. There it is. I'm going to fly with these options. So everybody please watch what I'm doing here now as it's loading up. Now you maybe get yours loading up, but once mine comes on, let me show you so you have it. All right. All right. Understood. So remember, I'm going to go into settings, data input output, select speed, distance traveled, landing gear, vertical forces. They'll show up right there. Then I'm going to have a white square, guys. Now, what's crucial on this, and it's hard to see here, honestly. I wish they need to change this to a different color. So this is white right there, and a white to generate, okay? So then what I want to do, go down, I want to hit pause, turn off I'm going to push the throttle away, brakes. Then I'm going to go right here on the lower. I'm going to select where the cross is there. I'm going to hold it right there every time I take it off. Now, I might have to pull it to the right a little bit, but then I'm going to hold it at the same level and then measure my takeoff. I'm going to try to do that all 3 flights. Once I have that, I'm going to go to data input output, data C. And then let me show you what's going to happen. Turn off all this. Please watch what I'm doing so you understand it. Distance and feet down there and then landing gear. So what I'm going to do is find out where these landing gear. Let me see here. Where my landing gear? All right, so apparently I wasn't quite off the ground there because these other gear are still not zero. So I jumped the gun a little bit. But when these two lines, see yellow and white, are both zero, like the red one's zero, then up at that intersection is the height that you're doing it. That'll both have true airspeed and distance traveled. All right. All right, so let's just go through this again so everybody can see it. And all that we want you to do is do this 3 flights, the 50, the 40, 30, 20, and 10. I've got the handouts. Fill it out there because we want the average and we're going to graph them. So again, you open it up. You're going to go under data input output, data sets, speeds 20, 21, distance traveled, landing gear, vertical forces. Let me look at the airplane. I'm kind of I'm surprised, honestly. Okay, the front had come off. I hadn't let the landing gear completely off yet. I jumped the gun. And I'll show you. I'm going to just fly this. There's a little cross. I'm going to hit pause. All right, so pause. Then when you go into data C, you'll see right over here, right where those landing gears have both gone to zero, that's where we intercept it. Right? Because landing gear, if you look right here, 0, 0, 0, then we go straight up and say, okay, let's take off. All right? That's distance traveled, and the blue one is true miles per hour. Okay? Now, I'm giving you the class time because I know you don't have time with everything else. What plane do you use? You do the one you designed, 50 foot. You score the values. I've given you the handout. Write that down. Make a note to yourself, however. Do 40, 30, 20, and 10. That's all we're going to try to do now for the next 15 minutes. So that way you can get this all done. So we're pretty close to done. So then we walk in class. Mr. DeToy can go through the results and get going on 8. All right, let me look at questions here. Any questions? Go down the handouts. It's right there under your handouts for them. I'll put everybody's hands down here. No way you flew those it's about 15 flights. So let's use the next 15 minutes to go through it. All right, folks, let's just keep rolling them. Any questions down here? William, there's no way you flew all 15 flights. Not to, I want you to do all the different things. Try to fly them consistently. Try to add that answer. All right. Okay, any questions, anyone? As you're sitting there flying these? That's what I hope everybody's doing. Oh, by the way, the Hyperloop technology, while you're doing that, Hyperloop technology, where we create a vacuum in a tube and suck you through the tube to get from one place to the other, very fast, very inexpensively, it's really starting to gain some ground. So who knows? Maybe in your lifetime, there'll be a hypertube from here to Raleigh. Instead of taking 3 hours by car, you'll do it in 5 minutes. Realistically, it would take longer than that because your body couldn't take the ramp up and ramp down like that. So they could go that fast, but they just wouldn't. They would just get you up to, so it'd make it like 10 minutes, which would be pretty awesome. All right, we're almost getting there. All right. It's about 8:55, folks, so it's getting to be that time. How many people have gotten through at least 2 or 3 of the airplanes? If you've done 2 or 3 of the different size airplanes, raise your hand, so I get a sense of how much more we got to do yet. Okay. Well, like I say, I will ask Tom will start off, give you a few minutes more to finish these, but then talk about it and then go on to the next lesson. And you'll get time to fly in that. Again, we're not going to expect you. You just don't have the time to do it outside of class. Remember, Thursday we have lab. If you didn't finish your electronics in the last lab, bring those. But we are going to start building sailplanes. So it'll be pretty cool. All right, everybody? With that in mind, have a great evening. I'm also looking down here for questions. So everybody take care. All right.